privacy, all in a single download. It's time to ditch big tech. Time to switch to Brave.
You're all invited to go fucking mental on this motherfucking drop. The countdown has just begun. Are you ready? Let's go, 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 go. So we're back from the dead. We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
Back, 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 back. We're back from the dead. Are you ready? Let's go.
Back from the dead.
We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
He has a little
He's slow to start.
Yeah, it's a slow start, and takes to gain the his clutch at the OT. So what series, man?
Dude, what a series indeed. Everybody had clips. Everybody had their moment.
My
I mean, we are still buzzing off of the adrenaline. We were losing our minds watching those last few overtimes. I honestly almost wanted it to just keep going into the madness. Go for sextuple OT. Go for more septuple. Like, let's set a record. Let's set a record. I'm a little disappointed we didn't get there.
We were getting pretty close.
We weren't far.
Yeah. I think that the thing is, Rare Adam wanted to get out of there. I think that Jam Young wanted to get out of there.
Sure.
That guy was lighting MIBR up. I felt like every late round situation with Jam Young, I was like, I believe in that.
Well, I believe, and I guess that his opera believes as well, because we got Kaza here to talk to us about it. Kaza, how are you doing after that marathon of a map?
What a series from us. Literally tired. Yeah, but excited to win the series and make it to playoffs.
Yeah, you've well earned that playoff spot. You guys got knocked down to the lower bracket. You get your revenge on MIBR in this series. I mean, this is the first LAN event ever for two of your teammates. What does it mean to the team to have made playoffs at your first international tournament as a squad?
I would say it's the biggest achievement for us for now. Because every tournament we qualify for EU and we always lose 0-2 in the groups. So this meant a lot for us, and also proud of Asia at least to make it a playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, Kaze, I share your excitement. That was so much fun to watch. It's really cool to see you guys pull through in the way that you did. But I want to talk about how I've kind of heard rumors, or just like a couple people in the scene telling me that some of your teammates are basically from Pugs. So I want to know if there's some confirmation to that. I've heard that, what is it? Jam Young and one more of your players is
Mercury.
Is Mercury? Are these guys are? Did Advent just find these guys off the street? What? How did you guys get these guys on your team?
Okay, basically there's a Face It in the China platform. It's called 5E. So you just find the highest elo player by the captain, and it's sort of like a Rob's version of China, at least. Yeah, so that's how it all went.
Is Jam Young the Chinese Rops then?
Yes, everyone in China says that.
That's awesome.
So now you are going to facing outsider. What do you expect from this next match?
I will give them the respect and not too overconfident with this win. I'll try to be humble for ourselves and still play our game and see how it all went tomorrow.
Well, I gotta let you know here, your game is absolutely nuts. You've definitely made some fans here on the desk. I do have one last question. I know I've been hammering home just how new some of your teammates are to competing. Well, my question is, over the last 2 days, with the experience they've had playing at this event, have you seen them like just grow in the course of the matches they've played?
Yeah, I would really say the youngsters have definitely improved over the days, and props to them.
Well, congratulations on the win. A huge congratulations on the playoff spot. And I'm sure at this point, you need a break.
Yeah, thank you.
Whew. What a series. What a map. I mean, you could see the relief on his face. That's got to be insane. Once you get that many rounds in, you're like, we can't have played 60 rounds of CS to lose this map, right? What if you go to a map 3? That'd be insane.
Everybody would need a break between map 2 and 3. I'm glad we're not there actually, because we in terms of the total rounds we got there from this series, it was like we played 3 maps.
Yeah, almost the entire 3 maps here.
Yeah.
I cannot understand how they stay focused after so many rounds. We saw that her Atom still reads MIBR moves after 4 OT. So it's pretty insane how they stay focused. They deserve the series.
I will say, it did feel like we got a lot of those more slapstick moments, shall we say, in CS.
Yeah.
Players kissing in smokes, players walking right past each other, not clearing corners. Just the madness sets in when you play that many rounds of CS. Here's the stats from the tournaments, but honestly, the kill numbers could just be from this series with how long this went on. This is Brinson and Kaze matched up, the Oppers.
Yeah, I think that BRNSN didn't have necessarily the best overall tournament, but in that last map, he was the reason that it went as far as it did.
The last series is BRNSN had a great Inferno show, so I think we want to see more of BRNSN, and he starts to showing us. But at the wrong time, maybe.
A little bit too late.
Yeah.
Too little, too late. And I mean, talking about Kaze as well, like, give him his credit. Whenever he was playing towards A, it felt in towards the bathrooms, in and around the site. He was dominating. He was shutting them down every time they tried to make moves toward it.
That's exactly what we talked about in the pregame. The fact that the first time they played against MIBR, they lost a close game, 16-13, to kick off the tournament. But the problem was that it almost feels like they anti-stratted MIBR in a way that made them play worse and less like themselves. This is the Kaze that I was used to seeing when I was watching some of the games from when he played in the APAC region on Overpass. He's a lot more mobile. He plays around that A side a lot more, and it's great that he unlocked himself because he needed to be that dynamic force in order for Rare Atom to actually pull off this win.
Yeah, and it's difficult to adversary reach when you have this mobile, this flexibility on your offer, because you will never know where the first pick is gonna happen. So it was a good overpass from her Atom, and it was a really exciting. A bit sad, I would say, series.
Certainly for you. Certainly for you, and I'm sure for a lot of the fans watching at home, it was a little bit bittersweet because you can't help but get a little jazzed up on the madness that is this Counter-Strike. I finally understand, you know, what the APAC casters talk about when they say Asian CS is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that every single round from Rare Atom was incredibly clean. They did have some good, some nice little fast plays. They had some execs. I could see the idea behind a lot of what they were doing, but so frequently it does come down to these scrappy rounds. I think by the end of this one, it was a war of attrition in terms of who could keep it together at the end of this game.
Yep.
And I think that a few of the individuals on Rare Atom really shone through. Even Advent, who had such a quiet time, had his own 1v3 in one of those OTs. I'm not going to try to even count which one it was, though.
Yeah, throw a dart. Throw that out there.
Could have been
1 through 5.
Could have been OT3. Could have been OT5.
OT2.
OT2?
Yeah, I think it was a bit early. Like it was 6 a.m. No, just kidding. The series took so long. One interesting thing is that in OTs, MIBR has all the OT map points. The first time her Atom gets the map point, they close the game. So.
Now, one thing I do want to mention here, because I think we've talked about Jam Young, I think we've talked about Kaze here. We haven't really talked about Mercury that much. He was nuts, especially getting entries, playing in towards the bathrooms as well, just maneuvering around. It's such a nuisance for them to deal with.
Right. I think that Mercury, a lot of the time, would get a really clean open. I mean, the openers that he got were obviously instrumental. It's just that we didn't really see him in too many of the late rounds. That's why it's so easy for us to hone in on the Jam Young, the Kaze moments. But yeah, if it weren't for Mercury, they would have never been able to pave the way for Jam Young to get that kind of space. I think a lot of the reasons that Jam Young was effective is because he was lurking up long when there was a lot of commotion going on towards B, and that's because of people like Mercury that were just opening that side of the map up.
I think it's a similar situation to Exit. Exit took some trade kills, so we most see the first kills, not the trade at all. So, if you took all kills, they got at the match, so you see like 49 and the other side 50 kills. It's a bit much, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Now, I mean, if we're looking at sum total, we're done with Group B here. We have promoted both of our teams. The Movistar Riders, the 1 seed. Rare Atom, the 2 seed. Rare Atom, their first international stint with this roster. Wild to think about that they're in the playoffs.
Definitely. It shows that the work that they put in the APAC region, though, paid off, and there was some kind of method behind it, because so frequently, I just want to put into context, like this means so much for an Asian team, because you see so many of them come over to international events and they just get stomped out. It's almost everybody's default pick for a team that's just going to come in last place. So for them to actually secure a top 4 berth or a playoff berth in this case is great for the scene in general, because this team, like I think you told us about this, the fact that for the conference they couldn't even come over because of visa issues, and sometimes that just puts out the fire for some of these Asia teams too. So for them to actually be able to bounce back, to be able to come into this event and make it to the top 4, this has got to mean the world to them.
Well, we now have 4 of our playoff teams. You can see them there. We've got 1 more to promote. It's either going to be 00Nation or Sprout in this final spot, but the stage is nearly set for tomorrow's games. Movistar Riders, Outsiders, and Rare Atom. That Outsiders-Rare Atom matchup, I mean, I know it's the Outsiders. There's so much more polish, there's so much more experience, but doesn't today have you just believing just a little bit that Rare Atom could do something here?
If we looked at that matchup at the very beginning of the tournament, I would have said Outsiders every single day of the week, 16-6 or something. But now you have to think that Outsiders are going to take Rare Atom seriously, because they've been really underdogs in multiple series now, and I mean, they just keep proving us wrong.
I think one thing that has to be noticed is that Rare Atom has a good map pool, so they can change a little bit of their picks, of their deciders, and that could help them against Outsiders.
It could indeed. And I do have to ask you, we're looking at Group A here, obviously 1 more team to promote, only 1 more Brazilian team in the tournament. You're not going to be with us on the desk for that one, but full faith in 00Nation?
I have to, yeah. If I don't have any more options.
If you don't, he's not let back into the country.
But 00Nation made a good series against Furia and also against Outsiders. Besides the defeat, they played a really good Inferno, so I have to put some faith on them. Just remember that it's their first appearance in the tournament, so we have to adjust the expectation, but it's a really nice start to them.
Well, we'll see if they can keep waving the flag strong, or if indeed all of the BR teams will be the ones that are eliminated in the groups. Either one is distinctly a possibility. That is going to be our next matchup, and my goodness, is it going to be a spicy way to end the day?
Yeah.
It is. I think it's going to be. It's really hard to predict it. Actually, I'm sure we'll talk about it later, though.
We will talk about it later. We have a whole segment to talk about it, but some final thoughts on MIBR. We're obviously, it's a bit of the eulogy for MIBR in this tournament. They had expectations of making it out of the group. They had expectations of being in the playoffs. Those expectations not met, but what a way to go out. What a send-off here.
I think they had the control of the game at some time, but they wasn't able to close that. So I think that comes with time too. It's a new roster, it's a new IGL, it's a new system, so they work to improve that. We saw a great conference from them, and now we saw a great series against both teams that they play.
I feel like the one thing that I have to say now that I've seen enough of MIBR at this event is that there is going to be a little bit of a learning curve for Cello as an IGL. Some of those moments they lack the conviction that the last version of MIBR had. And even though there's a firepower upgrade with BRN over Woody, I think that in terms of overall strategy, you could see in those moments the running out of time, the just going to the bomb site that's just more likely to be stacked, I think by most viewpoints. Those kind of things, I think Cello is going to have to work a lot with Bit with, because I don't actually think the individuals were why MIBR didn't succeed here. I think it was the overall team play.
Sure. Well, we'll have to see if that's something they can fix going forward. Obviously, they're done here at ESL Challenger Valencia, and we're done with this segment. We'll be back with another segment in just a little bit, so stick around. We'll see you then.
Always thought I could walk through fire, blow up the storm and see the light, yeah. I told my friends that I could run on water, and they said nobody can. They'll see me flying through the sky.
An echo still rings through these halls. Timeless moments, carefully depicted.
The diffuse is coming in. He's still going. Oh, just about gets it.
The exploits here are legendary. They must be preserved, for within every stone and each shard of glass lies our history.
How quick can the cavalry arrive? It doesn't look like... Just gonna take a single good burst. He reloads quick, he's up. Inhuman reactions! They're gonna get it down because he's watched forward. But when he finds his strength, they never reactions to stop. Shroud getting one of them. Headshots like baby Shroud! It's a one-man army.
Finally, it's time again.
Do you think you know everything about CSGO? Then stay alert and look out for the DHL drop quiz on the ESL CSGO Twitch channel.
We've come to the end of the day here at ESL Challenger Valencia, and we've got one more team to send through to the playoffs. But equally, we have one more team to knock out of the tournament. It's Sprout. It's 00Nation. The hopes of a nation residing now in just one team when they thought they would have massive representation in the tournament, and indeed they did. And meanwhile, a Sprout team that looks to rectify the mistakes of previous events and make their mark upon the Challenger event calendar. It's time for one of these teams to make their way into the playoffs. I've got two gents with me for the final. Maui sticking around. Alan returning. You have a nice nap, Alan.
Not too bad. I mean, that game kept me up. I thought it'd be over about 2 hours ago, but it conspired never to end. But nevertheless, we're here. We've got a cracking match, and I think it's safe to say we're going to have a tough time predicting who's going to win this one.
I think this one is up in the air. We're seeing a new 00Nation, a team that I think most people kind of were tentative about when it first was put together. We haven't really seen Cold doing anything remotely successful for some time now. I know that's hearsay in the Brazilian scene, but it is what it is. And Sprout, on the other hand, is a team where I feel like every week I'm getting it's just like a completely different look, even though it's the same players.
It does feel like whiplash, right? I mean, they weren't able to translate their online form in the ESL Pro League conference, but then they take down Furia, but then Furia topples to 0-0. So the transitive property says, I don't know who's best in this particular matchup, but that's why I was never very good at math, folks. So it is time to figure out in the server who's going to be there. How are we feeling about these two teams? Let's go ahead and focus in on Sprout. Let's talk about Sprout a little bit more specifically. Yeah, I mean, two best of ones, and I really don't know what to make of this team right now.
Right now, when I look at some of the individuals, I think the guy that jumps off the page for me has been Stare at this event. Yeah. I think you probably like a Romanian player, perhaps.
Longs, yeah. So Stir is the one who's played for this team for the longest. He came out of nowhere. I had really no idea who he was when they picked him up about 6 months ago, but Longs is the one that's got a lot of skill, hugely inexperienced on LAN, let's be fair, but he's the one I haven't quite seen show up yet. But Stir, as you mentioned, he looked pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, Stir, what's really nice about him is that he's a space taker, and I don't think that Sprout has had any phenomenal space takers in recent memory. And they tried using Merrick's and Stir, and I think really they realized we're going to move forward with one of these guys and not the other. That's why Merrick's is out of this lineup at this point. But Stir, yeah, he was one of the proponents for the reasons that Furia was taken down by Sprout. I think that was a huge upset victory. Nobody really saw that coming, but Stir was consistently outdueling those B players on Furia. The Art drop trio almost stood no chance against him, actually, once Stir was up there with some force.
Now, Alan, you'll remember from the Pro League conference that Longs talked a big game before that event, didn't necessarily deliver. I think he may have been a bit humbled, but we got another interview with him, and I'm curious to see what he's thinking ahead of this matchup, so let's give it a listen.
It feels amazing to be playing on a stage with my new team. I've played a few LANs in Romanian tournaments, like offline events, but without a crowd. So this is kind of new environment for me. To be honest, we didn't have enough time to watch 00Nation, but I've watched the first game, I think against the outsiders. What I personally expect is them to just search for individual fights because they're like 5 strong opponents. They have Colgera, they have Taco and Dumao, even Lato. I think the key to win the match against 00Nation is just to play our game, go with the mentality that we got nothing to lose and just enjoy the game.
Yuri, though, manages to get one onto Slack, but he's going to respond with 2 from Minipit. Looking for the third, is denied, but Rawls comes through with the trade.
Well, I think if we beat today 00Nation and we get in the playoffs, I think it will be a confidence boost for us because like before Valencia we had like a few rough matches and we were kind of down, but like when we came here we had a talk and we said, okay guys, we are here now, we can prove ourselves, let's just do it. And I think if we get to the playoffs, I think we can actually even win the event.
Interesting note there. Didn't really have any time to watch 00Nation. That's an odd tidbit to me. Maybe a little bit too much honesty from the young pro here.
Even though that he wasn't able to watch it, I think Barry and Rawls did.
You would hope.
I do think it's okay for a young player to actually not always have to watch the matches beforehand. If he is talking about the entire team, that is concerning because you should know what you're doing, Alan, as like a preparatory step to play any match.
Yeah, to put it lightly. I mean, a real aspect is here. They might have last night prepared for Furia. They might have genuinely
totally
heavily expected Furia to win that matchup. Already gone through the veto, so we're not quite sure when these interviews are recorded. Let's be honest, but that might be a few hours ago. I guess they've watched a bit, but they didn't expect to meet00Nation in this matchup anyway.
And in fairness, 00Nation are a bit of a wild card in this, right? You've got 2 new players coming in. Yes, it's some of the old systems and effects from the Godsent core, but it is going to be a fresh look. There's always going to be a little bit of difference when you bring in 2 new elements to that system. I think we've also got a little bit of another piece from Lonks here, another word from him talking about the ESL Impact tournament that's going on just next door. Let's give it a listen.
I'm a good friend with Anna from Enigma Galaxy. Like yesterday, I had like a 30-minute talk with her, and we were like the best friends. Like we're 2 Romanians, so seeing each other at the event, like cheering for each other, it was kind of nice. And about the female events, I think it's pretty nice because like I think last year there were no competitions at all, and now it's all of a sudden a lot of big tournaments for the woman scene. So I think it's pretty cool.
Good indeed. It's been really incredible to see the growth of Impact. I mean, even just event to event, right? It's obviously very much still in its growing stages, and it's been really cool to see the response of players getting involved and fans watching at home as well.
I just keep seeing Anna on my timeline nonstop. I'm seeing highlight after highlight. So I don't know why I'm watching this. I should be watching that. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be more fun on site over there. And I guess you had a lot of fun at Dallas seeing them live.
Yeah, actually, at the Impact event at Dallas, the crowd was completely full for that. And it was really sick to see actually the cross-pollination between orgs, where basically the big team was out at Dallas, so they watched the big Akipa team and they were rooting for them. It was actually a really genuinely awesome time to just be in that audience and feel the energy there.
It was indeed. So let's go ahead and take a look across the aisle. Not at an Impact team, but at 00Nation. We're going to take a little peek in here, focus a bit more up on the 00Nation players. We have talked about how they're a bit of an unknown. They're a new team. This is their debut. These are their first matches. We've been impressed. They topple Furia, the big dog of their region. That's got to inspire a lot of confidence in this roster early on here.
Yeah, surely. And Dumao, he's been sensational during this tournament. For me, the best player here right now, and he's putting a lot of these other Brazilian players to shame with the sort of level he's bringing. So super dynamic, all over the map, plays a lot of different positions, and he's had so much impact. And 100% 00Nation would not be here right now if it wasn't for him.
It does feel like Lado and Dumao are thriving, even though it is kind of a new makeup lineup. The fact that Taco's taking his style, it's clear that those 2 guys, the youngsters that were from the Godsend side, are still pulling their weight. I think that Cold and Tri are kind of still catching up to speed, kind of understanding what it is that's going on with Taco's sort of IGLing. But I think that's what's kind of scary is that because Dumao and Lado are doing such heavy lifting right now, there's so much room for Tri and for Cold to actually perform even better than they have. And I think that it's tough to say if that's going to happen in just a couple days' time, but I think it's pretty obvious right now that Dumao is the best player on this team.
Well, we've talked about the in-game leader. We've talked about the system working. Let's listen to the in-game leader as he's got some words for us. Let's hear from Taco.
During the tournament, we had the opportunity to watch Sprout playing. They had a good Inferno against Furia yesterday. We have an idea of how they play as a team. We believe that playing our game is enough. Dumao had such a great game against Furia. He won 1 versus 3. That was a very key round for us.
Big nade. And it does drop the bomb. He needs to maybe just chill a little bit and hold on to that bomb. Catches Art with Molotov in hand, and he will swing out to clap K Serato. Massive round coming through for
op. Well, Taco's pretty good with it. Lato, Dumao, and of course Try. But Dumao, who peeks around, gets actually fragged through the smoke. Timing shot there from Slack, stealing the killing blow and the opening frag into the round. Dumao is typically, of course, the secondary opper now for the 00Nation squad, and Spitty does get another one before Lato can respond and find the A1S headshot onto Spitty.
Lato still in towards the pit. Molly's trying to pressure him out, but now he's known and the util raining in. Good flashes. Lato forced on this reload try. That missed shot to just lose him the round. Unfortunate. Those two needed something out of the double setup, but now it's a 4 versus 1 for coldzera. He's recovered the op. Gap in the smoke. Can't find it on towards the first shot. Would take a nutty shot to connect, or maybe not. If Lonks just peeks straight into things, that does confirm the position to Cold. And as we've been highlighting, Sprout's money is so good, why not try and take this weapon away?
Yeah, coldzera is going to make it very, very difficult, though, as he finds the headshot onto Slacks. And at this point, you're Sprout. Yeah, you have the money, but the chase might not be the wisest decision, but they're still going to have a peek prod around here. coldzera misses the shot, goes down to 45. They're not able to punish with the kill, but I would imagine that Cold has thought, okay, well, I've been tagged down now. I need to be a little more careful, but Stair's got the audio cues. He knows Cold is here. Cold gets a chance to peek back around, misses the quick peek and the shot, and now goes for the no-scope. It's not going to connect. Bold there from Cold, but Stair will punish, and that's another round on, excuse me, another round on the board for Sprout. That overtime is still hitting me here.
Still hitting you a little bit.
Yeah.
Understandable. I think that first shot wasn't actually timing through the smoke. If I'm recalling correctly, I think Dumao was trying to boost up over that and got punished. Again, it was 00Nation trying to be proactive, make a new play to shut things down, similar to that aggressive top mid round we saw, but again, denied. And here they're back on towards the eco. Double op setup, not finding them success.
coldzera coming through here with the deagle in hand. Flashbang going to be thrown in his direction. Not really going to blind him, but again, 00Nation on a limited buy-up because they've been on save after save due to the fact that Sprout continue punishing them on their full-on buy-up. Spitty looking to peek around here. Lato this time has the scouts, so does Try. And Try was very successful at long A before. This time he's trying his luck towards mid, and he's actually going to push out. Lato connects on the head of Spitty, and that's a great opener for 00Nation to find. The second is a tag right before the flash is thrown, so a bit of a mistimed jump there by Slacks. Need to wait a little bit longer for the flash to pop.
This position from Cold could be big. He's kind of peeking past Catwalk, ensuring no one rotates back through mid, so he has Sprout locked in towards his play, and Try has things locked down towards long. Another shot connecting.
I mean, at this point, if you're Sprout, do you just fall back and give up long A? No, they want to fight into it, Mimi.
They do. Long's already up. Try now under pressure, and yeah, not going to be able to get anything done. The angle's too close for that scout to get more, but coldzera with the deagle was maybe looking for something spicy, not to be, as Dumao now in the 1 versus 2. Not the most unwinnable of circumstances, but the player towards car timing. Peek back towards Long. Long's now holding on the line. Dumao expects it, but unable to find the head. The flawless streak continues for Sprout.
Yeah, and 00Nation, at least they're making these light buy-ups interesting, right?
Sure.
With the scout shots, Dumao and Try combining there for a couple. But at the end of the day, I kind of like the decision from Sprout, right? You say, look, you gain that space. They don't want to give any confidence over to 00Nation. They say, you are not able to hold on to long A. We are going to power our way through and get past this, because going to B site might be considered a retreat, might be considered a small victory for 00Nation in the round. So I like the decision. They want to assert their dominance into this map, and Slacks now going to fall off of that attempted hit towards long. Good utility usage by 00Nation there with the Molotovs and now the smoke and the nade.
Try holding towards mid. Here's these footsteps. Flash across is good. Damaged. Still an opportunity for another shot here, but again, this util goes in deep, and now Sprout open to the idea of this split in towards B. Again, it falls just to one player. Not Taco, coldzera instead in this round. Dumao, is he considering making a play through it here? He's found a gap. Inching forward, Spitty, close corner, bad timing. Yeah. Util in hand, the smokes have faded, and now that advantage that was momentarily held by Sprout stolen away. If they had just split that in towards a B hit, it would have been one man alone to hold, but still don't know that. They're still unaware, lacking information for this T side.
Oh, good flashbang thrown there. Dumao full blind, has to fall off, and there's another flash that'll come through. He dodges that and manages to come around the corner to take down Rawls. Second frag for Dumao. He's looking for the third, realizing the push is coming into the B site. Lots of pressure onto Cole, but the reinforcements are here in time, and the utility is in for Sprout. They're going to have to dry peek this. Slacks manages to get the headshot onto Taco through the wall. What? A jumping AK shot from Stair. Unbelievable onto Cole. 3v3. And they've got control of the B site with that. Dumao's trying to peek back into it from window, but I cannot believe Stair hit that shot.
I am floored. I mean, he's given Cole a little bit of his own medicine there.
I need to see that again.
I mean, we saw that happen just the other day with the AK. I'm still shocked. I am still shocked from that one. And 00Nation surely reeling as well. All their util was used on holding that space out toward mid. They're forced to concede. Yeah, give me a replay, please.
For a second, I was doubting it. I was like, someone else hit that shot. There's no way he hit that in midair. So
it just feels bad, man, for Colt. I feel like he didn't really do anything wrong there. He's just peacefully trying to hold his angle, and a falling AK kills him.
Something you see with a MAC-10, not necessarily an AK. And Try will get a consolation prize onto Lonks, but wow. Talked about those Stair entries, but
okay, here it is.
That's more than just. Oh my
That's
goodness.
That's so gross. It looks like he counter strikes him, and
that shot was crazy too.
Oh my God, Slacks is farming here with the AWP.
I mean, everyone is connecting for Sprout. It even looked, I mean, it didn't just look, it was 00Nation with the advantage there, 5v3, and Sprout just managed to power their way into that B site with crazy shot after crazy shot. All right, that's a little unlucky for 00Nation, but Sprout definitely going to be happy with that result as they've already taken the half, denying 00Nation a single round.
What a well-timed swing. What a bad spray. Okay.
I guess,
you know,
the Counter-Strike gods have to balance things out, right? He got the jumping AK headshot, but now he has to whiff the spray.
All good. All is right in the world for but a moment. Lato survives on 1 HP. 00Nation will pull Trizot back from the catwalk to make sure that nothing is happening fast towards a safe site, but not to be. Instead, Sprout working back towards B. They've lost control in upper tuns. Dumao is in a forward position here, but